Well, hello folks, welcome back to another video from myself, Fraser. As you can see, we're back in Kathmandu. Had a little bit of a break with flying the new CRJ, but back in carrying on with my journey, flying the original trotter aircraft. So we're gonna do it, folks. We're gonna try and do this complex departure just using the basic GPS there, and we're gonna fly all the way up to Kathmandu, and we're gonna try and attempt to land at arguably the world's most challenging, dangerous airport in the world. So here we are. We're in this Tara Air, which is I think it's an airline that does operate out of Kathmandu to Lukla. So we're gonna, I haven't flown this for a long time, so we'll get in and see how. We'll have to do a few flights with the ATR around Nepal as well. So it's a bit of a, we'll see what the weather is like when we clear Kathmandu, because the weather does collect in the basin here. It's, as you guys probably know, Kathmandu sits in a basin and it does collect the weather. And it is very windy too, so we'll see how that all plays a part. So we will attempt to fly this aircraft, From memory, I think all of these doors are all manual, so we'll go through and just open it all up. There is a click spot somewhere. There we go. Right, and I think there are a few other little hidden switches for doors and whatnot, so we'll try and figure out how to operate this aircraft again. Yeah, that opens up all of the doors. Perfect. Right, how do we get rid of these? There we go, that's got rid of that. Get rid of that for now. Right, let's power this aircraft on, Let's see how it all works out. It's been a long time since I've flown this. Right, let's try this, folks. We do have a sim brief plan that I set up. It doesn't have, like, because there's so many different variants of this aircraft when it first came out. Just make sure these throttles work. Perfect. View flight plan. We'll get our weights and balances up too. So we're going to have, oh, that's perfect, that's the fuel that we've got default, so we'll keep it at that, and our takeoff weight's going to be, well, we'll just leave it at that, that's perfect. Maybe give it a bit more. Total takeoff weight, yeah, that's, oh no, we can go a bit more. We've got another. Right, we'll leave it at that. And we will pretend all the passengers are all about to load. We can now probably turn this aircraft on, so I'm going to have to remember how to do that. I think it's... we'll have the external power on, while we relearn how to do this. Probably want our fuel pumps on, and we can close up all the doors now. Let's close up that back door. That's nice and quiet now. So I'll probably cruise at 11,000 feet from that. From what I have in my flight plan, we'll push the magic B button to set our altimeters. That should be alright. And we will come in here and program our flight plan. So, flight plan. VNKT. And we can now enter in our destination, Lukla, and I think we go to procedure. So we're going to be using runway 20. Bigger 1E. That one. Now transition is KINTI. Load. We don't have our approach. Basically our departure takes us basically to our last waypoint, and then we will fly basically visual flight into Lukla. So we'll just have a look at that. That's our flight plan going right round like that, so that looks pretty good. We'll see how well it performs, so we want to go make sure you select GPS mode for navigation, and we can now look to turn this thing on, let's attempt that. Right, I'll play with that a little bit later on. Turn on our transponder and let's power up this aircraft, Right, now what do? We come out to here. Helps to read it the right way, doesn't it? Let's turn this on, assuming that's on. So that's one engine successful. Oh, no, something wrong there. Oh, there isn't a fuel thing, is there? That sounds a lot better now. Just selecting my maps for takeoff, and I think that's us. We will turn on our taxi lights, which is where is our taxi lights? There we go. Right, let's try this, folks. Let's see if that works. Right, next stop is Lukla Airport, the most challenging airport in the world to land at, with the runway that's on an angle. We'll give it a go, folks. Let's see how we do. And we're flying in a short takeoff and landing performance aircraft, so we won't use the full runway. We'll just use this length here, and we will now turn on all of the lights. Everything's all nice and lit, and we will now commence our takeoff. We're just going to turn on the autopilot now. Navigation, select. Going to select speed hold mode, so hopefully it just holds that speed as we climb. Have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just sort of guessing. Right, we'll power off these engines just a bit. To our climb speed, and I really need to learn how to set my vertical speed, which would be better than Right, we were pushing it right to the edge here, but I could not find a way to engage the vertical speed mode, but we're altitude set anyway. We're cruising now at 11,000 feet, which should get us above all of the mountains that are on our way there. What I will do is I'll just make sure everything else is all turned on that I do need. I will turn on all of these anti-ices just in case we need them. Right, I think that's all pretty good. We'll turn on our window heat as well, and we can now just enjoy the view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the we'll see what snow there is at Lukla. If it's too much snow, we'll just take the change the weather and the date of time just to make it a bit, you know, so there's not so much snow there, so we can enjoy the view. And we're just going to reduce our RPM, our propeller pitch, and just go into like economy cruise, you could say. But yeah, I'll speed up the plane a bit. It did that it definitely did that departure quite well actually, the GPS, so that's really good. And we're still part of the still on the departure itself, so that's great. It's interesting, this aircraft. I think this aircraft, when it came out, there were quite a few bugs and whatnot. I quite like flying it. I don't think the system depth is there, or there are things that you shouldn't be able to do that you do on this that seems to work. But if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a nice. I do like this aircraft. Oh, there's that plane flying below us. Looks like a Vista jet. But yeah, no, I don't mind it. It is a nice aircraft, and I haven't flown it for a long time, as you could see as I was fumbling my way through the startup there. So you select to get to vertical speed, you need to push that. So that's how you do it. But we'll just select our altitude anyway. And we'll sit back and enjoy the views of the southern, not the Southern Alps, the Himalayas over in the distance there. All of your highest peaks in the world are all over here. Well, 90% of your highest peaks in the world are all found along this Himalayan region here, this Himalaya range, the mighty Himalayan mountains. And it's been a long time since I've landed at Lukla, so this is going to be an interesting challenge. But yeah, when we get to this last waypoint, Kimti, we will come across here, and then I think we'll come up this valley here, so that gives you lots of information there. But yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll find the correct valley to go up, and we'll come up into Lukla. And I've said it a few times, and I'll say it this time, this will be we will be touching it down whatever we do. When we're committed, we will be landing this plane no matter what, because there is no going around once you're committed. We definitely need to do this flight and land on Barrow Beach as well in Scotland, so we'll definitely need to do that as well. And we'll need to do this flight as well once, like, 2024 is a bit more settled and we can upload deliveries. We'll definitely recreate this flight using the 2024 scenery and see how much better it is, if it is any better. And I've said this before, definitely need to get the helicopter out and explore these valleys, explore the Himalayas up along Nepal there and over the border into Tibet. Where are we? We're here. And we'll have to go to when we land at Lukla, I'm going to we'll do a turnaround flight and we'll go back to Kathmandu, but we'll do a helicopter flight from Lukla. We'll go land up at where is it? We'll go up to, where is it? Is it Samshi Bazaar or Samshi up here? Then we'll carry on and we'll head on up to Everest Base Camp. So we'll definitely do that. Yeah, we'll do a flight up to base camp, but this is the flight that I did fly. I flew on I think it was Buddha Air that I flew on, or it was a Yeti, I think it was Yeti, an airline called Yeti Air, but we got up to here, but we had to turn back because the weather was average. We had 2 tries at trying to get to Lukla, but the weather just wasn't playing ball. So this is a real world flight that I did do in real life, but we never touched down, unfortunately. Never made it to Lukla, because that would have been a spectacular landing. But yeah, on Flight Simulator 2024, we'll go explore these tucked away airports that are dotted all around Nepal. Right, I'm just going to speed it up a bit more. Flying over the beautiful country of Nepal. All of these places down here would all be rice paddy fields and various grains and wheats that they grow, all terraced too. Like I say, we'll fly the helicopter along here and this detail hopefully will be a lot more clear and we can check out this beautiful landscape and see, try and make out what they grow around here. So I think we will go into heading mode now, and we'll fly our way into the mountains. And wish us luck, folks. We'll probably need every bit of luck that we can have. And we will attempt this, the world's most well-known arrival landing at arguably one of the world's most dangerous airport. I was going to say the world's most dangerous airport in the world. So yeah, I'm going to make an attempt at landing at the most dangerous airport in the world. And I think we start descending now, so we'll So this next valley will follow what I believe at this next valley up and around, and we'll make our way to Lukla airport. Hugging these mountains as we go along. Right, I think it's this valley that we're going to be flying up now, so we can basically aim for use these little waypoints as a tool, although they're not there in real life. This little dot here, I'm guessing that's going to be marking either this airport here or Lukla airport, and then it's up through that valley there. Beautiful flight, eh? It's one of those flights you have to do in real life to appreciate it. But definitely, like flying into Leh, it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. Especially as you're literally touching these little ridge lines here. And not only that, feeling every bit of bump and turbulence, like lots of drops and rises, all of the fun roller coaster sort of type experiences that you don't want in the aircraft. stunning part of the world, isn't it? Another airport that we need to land at. Like I say, we'll do this. We'll follow regions my footsteps. Once Simone gets a bit more stable and we can start importing deliveries, because I feel like it's good at flying deliveries of the region. Then we'll start exploring these airports and what we do with the range drops or weight runs, all of that sort of jazz. We will continue to do that. Right, we're now getting into the business end of our trip into Lukla. So we'll jump over this little saddle here and then we'll drop down into that valley. And we'll attempt to land first time in Lukla, so we'll probably, once we get over this valley here, I'll probably go take control of the aircraft, and up in here somewhere will be Mount Everest, the load range that I must have set it on. It's probably not showing it in the detail, it looks a bit meh, but that's just more for performance, so my computer doesn't struggle, my laptop doesn't struggle, but yeah, that will be beautiful jaggedy jaggedy peaks of all of your giant mountains in the Himalayas. As we get closer they will probably become more refined, but we'll be focusing on landing this aircraft. Right, what I'm going to probably do now is I'm going to turn off autopilot and we'll do this bit ourselves, eh folks? Right, I'm going to focus on landing this bird and enjoy the views as I do. I probably won't be enjoying the views because I'll be focusing on my instruments and whatnot, but actually this is all, this part of the flight's actually all done visual flight rules, but what I am going to do is I'm going to turn off I'm going to pause my weather control, my active sky, because it's a bit I mean, in real life it's probably going to be like this, snow and whatnot. You know what, I'll keep the active sky on for this landing, then I'll turn it off when we take off, and then I'll keep it off when I do my helicopter ride, just so it brings out a bit more, you know, a bit more texture, a bit more detail. Right folks, let's attempt this landing, eh? So I believe we want to sort of hug this part of the range for now, and then we will swoop down for our finals. And what I'll do now as well as remember, I'll just get that full RPM, that full prop mixture. Quite hard to see where the actual runway is from here. So this is just going to be aim and hope, really. aim and hope, absolutely hope that we've got this right. Oh, you can just sort of make out the runway just under the window wipers there, so we are heading in the right direction. For a moment there, I thought the runway was pointing straight at us, so that's good. Right, let's do this, folks. Let's attempt the most dangerous airport in the world. As we look up into the ranges there. Oh. That went alright, folks. Not the most refined, but that actually went really well. I'm really happy with that the first time. Everything happened so fast when we're up here. But here we are, folks. And I believe these aircraft keep powered on when they unload everything, so we'll probably do that. We will do a full turnaround and get it ready, and what I will do is I will turn off the weather so we can see a bit more detail when we do our takeoff. Here we are, folks, at Lukla Airport, Tenzing Hillary Airport, two legends that were the first to climb Mount Everest. Who actually set foot first on the summit, we'll never know. Was it Tenzing or was it Hillary? My selfless Kiwi side, the classic Kiwi side, is hoping that Hillary gave Tenzing the honours. The selfish, like Kiwi, the other Kiwi side, is hoping that we were the first ones to climb the mountain. But nah, I do hope, a little part of me hopes it was Tenzing that did it. Right. What we do is we will shut down engine number right, we will do a single engine. I'm sure this will shut down. Yep. Right, we'll go and release the passengers. Click spots aren't the best in there, are they? Right, well that's hopefully, I think in real life we'll probably be facing the other way, but we'll quickly unload the aircraft, pretend we're doing we won't adjust the passengers because we're going to bring on passengers and take off cargo from the airport here, and we'll get rid of live weather. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? The snow's good and all the rest of it, but it does bring out the I'm just going to change the time of day a bit. And we will it's louder outside than it is inside, funny enough. Yeah, look at that, we'll definitely need to do a helicopter flight into the ranges. But we will get set up for our return flight. I'm going to shut this door because that's very loud. And I'll remember to shut these cargo doors now. And we'll set up our return flight, okay? Just do a quick little generic flight plan, just swap it around. I'm just on sim brief, just redoing this flight plan. That one looks perfect. And we are going to use the RNF approach. This is going to be interesting, we'll see how this goes. Flying all the way around here, we're going to put this default GPS to its limits. Going to disregard all of these flight plans. What I might actually do is I'm going to just delete them just to tidy it up a bit. Get rid of this direct to Kathmandu, so we're going to start basically start from here, so we can now go into procedures, select our arrival, which is going to be KMT I1G. transition is. I can't select the transition, which is alright, we'll leave it at that, and we'll select our approach while we're at it. Nav 20, enter. Oh yeah, now we can select our transition from here, which is this one here. And we can now look at our flight plan just to make sure that that looks pretty good. So we're ready to go with that. We'll make sure we change this to GPS mode. And we can now pretend that our passengers have boarded the aircraft for our return flight back to Kathmandu. Quiet, that's so much nicer, so much more pleasant. Right, and we will come up here and we'll turn on our engines now. Oh, we need to introduce the fuel. Select full power. Right, I think we're ready to take off, folks. We'll just wait for this engine to spool up a bit. The one that's just started, and we will now attempt to do our reverse flight back to Lukla. Right folks, you ready? Let's do this. Not Lukla, I mean back to Kathmandu, folks. Back to Kathmandu. Let's do this. And I think we're going to try and use the full runway as well. Don't want to put our wing into one of these brick walls. And then I think they basically, are you ready guys? Are you guys ready for this? I think it's just, what we will do is before we do anything we'll just set our heading bug. And we will be going down the end of the runway. Right, let's do this. there we go, folks, back to Kathmandu. I hope that was alright. We did run off the runway a bit too much there, but nonetheless we've done it. A little part of me wants to try and go up to that airport there, but let's do it, let's try it, eh? We'll push our luck, we'll just pretend we're picking up some passengers up from that airport up there. Go for a little extra trip up here. Stunning, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning, and I'm sure 2024 will be just as stunning when we do it with the helicopter. And once we leave this airport up here, Sambuchi Airport, we'll put back the turn on the real world weather for our approach back into Kathmandu. Well, we'll just leave it off actually, because I mean, we can always weather's weather, but since we're here, we might as well do a nice clear approach into Kathmandu. Just going to speed this up a little bit. I'm not too sure what the history with this airport is, because they obviously don't use it often, but I'm wondering if it's just like I think it might be one of those airports, if you've got the money and you just want to skip Lukla. I think there are people that come up to this airport here. And I do believe it's definitely a helicopter port. The helicopters do use this airport a lot. So this is going to be interesting. Oh, we'll try that one more time. Let's try that. In real life that would probably be a disaster, that. So yeah, this is Namche Bazaar. This is where, when you're doing a Everest base camp, this is where it really starts. When you're doing your Everest base camp climb, or your actual Everest climb. So we'll try that again. is much better, and we'll just park it at the end of the runway. We won't bother taxiing, but we will. Actually, we'll just do a takeoff, eh? We'll just take... Right. Hope you enjoy that little extra trip, little extra landing, and we'll now head back to Kathmandu. So away we go, folks. Let's do it. Pretend we picked up all of this luggage here, all of these tents and supplies, and away we go, folks. Then we pretend we didn't hit those trees. And away we go, guys. Back to Kathmandu, and we'll come back and we'll do Everest Base Camp in the next video. And I'm just going to set my altitude at that, turn on the autopilot, go to heading mode, but we'll just adjust that before we clip that mountain.
Don't worry folks, I'm just seeing it's a bit aggressive of trying to hit that flight plan.
Just seeing how early I can engage that flight plan, but hopefully now we can do it. It's not going to happen, it's a bit too steep at the moment, that flight plan. It's cutting right across these tall mountains. But they do fly this close to the mountains when I've been watching people's vlogs and whatnot, so they definitely are just kissing the tops of the mountains there. Hopefully this time we can engage the autopilot, not the autopilot but the nav mode, and hopefully this will bring us onto a pretty decent path. So this is basically our R&B approach, but we don't have that automatic descent there, so we're just going to have to make it up. Oh, that's my missed approach. What do we got here? By the time we get to we want to be 79 by the time we get to, what one is it? 424, so by the time so come in through here, come right round, and then we get to here, we want to be at 7900. So what we might do is we'll set our altitude for the time being to 10,000. never really mastered this altitude much. It's but yeah, this is going to be a nice, interesting RMP approach with the aircraft that's not definitely not RMP certified. So we'll come around here, do this big, sort of almost like a loose figure 8 really. That is a nice aircraft, isn't it? I mean, for those people who like everything all like, you know, all your systems and whatnot, it's... I'm going off course for some reason. Why is this happening? Why am I not following this flight plan? Let's set our altitude to 79. Let's get it all ready. We're coming into Kathmandu city, flying over the city. coming into the big basin here. As you can see, it's a bit more to see with the weather clears. And as you remember when we talked about this, very hazy anyway, so this might probably be your borderline in real life, but it's cool to see the get a view over the city as we're flying our approach. We'll be flying basically straight over the airport. It'll turn that figure 8 and then right back around again. Set ourselves up with a nice little challenge, shall we? So when we get to 419, we'll try and do this 3-degree descent. So we will set our descent speed, we'll set it at 600 feet, and we'll try and keep it at 200 knots, and we'll see how well we can keep it on path or thereabouts. So we're coming around to this waypoint here. Once we get to 419, was it? We'll start our 3-degree descent, which will be based off one of these speeds here. We'll keep it at about just below 140, we'll keep it at just above, around about the 600 feet per minute descent rate. And we'll set our altitude to, what's the minimum, what's our, so we'll set our altitude to 44 I should say. far are we along? Got a few more waypoints to go. Might just select this to flight plan. Start our descent now, shall we? And we'll set out. Yeah, we'll set it about there. That should be fine. why this vertical speed isn't working, which is being a bit of a pain in the backside. Seems to be working alright now. Right, I'm going to take control of the aircraft. Go back into autopilot just a little bit more so it can follow this path around, because there's no heads up display here, it's all through the GPS. In real life, I can imagine they wouldn't be doing this with this aircraft, or it'd be a bit more fancier with modern digital displays. No idea where the runway is. But it should be appearing anytime soon now. There it is. Found it. And we'll just disregard that traffic. And here we are, folks, back at Kathmandu. Bit of a crosswind there that was trying to pull into. Right level. Turn off the runway and then we'll head back to our bit of a conflicting here with the traffic. Obviously they're landing on that runway, they're going to take off from this runway, so who knows what's happening there. But yeah, thanks heaps for being a part of that flight. still getting used to my voice and speaking and whatnot, but I hope you enjoyed that trip to Lukla. We definitely managed to get there without any issues. The landing was a bit... I'm not too sure how that landing would have been like in real life, but felt like I was going a bit too fast, but we managed to get there. And going up to Namche Bazaar, that went alright too, so not too bad. These aircraft are obviously not parking on there, on the actual taxi lines here, so this is just a freeway airport, so I'm not too sure what's going on, but we will stop it at that. Feather these props. I'm not too sure if anyone comes along and plugs these in, but into external power, but I'll wait for these engines to power off a bit, and then we can now just shut our engines down just like that. Turn all of these off. Alright, and that's our flight over, folks. I'll just open up all of these doors like so. And here we are, folks, back at Lukla Airport where it all started, and we will pause the video here. It's getting a bit noisy outside there, lots of conflicts going on, but yeah, thanks heaps for being part of the flight, and we'll see you again very soon for our helicopter flight up to Everest Base Camp, and then we'll do some more touring around Nepal, and then we'll start our flight back home to New Zealand. We're getting close to the end of our trip that we've done, and yeah, thank you for tagging along, and we'll see you again in the next video.